Thank you. We're very much honored to be here this afternoon to commemorate this very important day as a way of reminding ourselves of the significance of peace and really also reminding ourselves of the opportunity for peace that exists within our world. I wanted to say just a few words about the United Nations, since our Prime Minister tends to be there or will be there this afternoon. And the United Nations is frequently besieged as being a place where there's too much bureaucracy and too much paper and too little gets done. But we must not lose sight of the fact that the United Nations has made a very significant contribution to the cause of peace in the world today. Numerous studies since 2000 have identified the strength of the United Nations in bringing peace to many people around the world. And its peacekeeping operations have been cited repeatedly as making a significant contribution to promoting and sustaining peace. The United Nations also recognizes the close connections between human rights, development, and peace, and the need for those three pillars to be in existence in any society if a society is truly to experience sustainable peace. And while our Prime Minister is there today speaking on an issue of development, it's important to recognize the connections between development and peace. And it's important for us here in Canada, who benefit so greatly from the peace that exists within our own country, to take advantage of our opportunity to provide support for those working for peace around the world, and to provide support for the United Nations as an institution to promote peace. We as a government and as a country have really withdrawn significantly from the United Nations in recent years, and that's been a very bad mistake in my estimation, because the United Nations still stands as a significant opportunity, and it's the one way in which the Canadian government and Canadian people can make a significant contribution to promoting human rights and sustaining peace around the world. And so I urge our Prime Minister today, and I urge all of us to put pressure on our Prime Minister to return our commitment to peacekeeping and other activities at the United Nations, so that we truly can be a partner in promoting peace around the world.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thanks for that wonderful introduction to today's International Day of Peace. It's so nice to see so many young kids here, and I noticed that one guy just gave me the peace sign. How many people know this peace sign? Yeah? Can you all show me the peace sign, all the kids? There you go. That's a peace sign. I didn't realize that they knew already the peace sign. That's a wonderful thing to know, because when in 1981, when the UN General Assembly decided to declare an International Day of Peace, and also decided to have the year 2001 to 2010 as a decade for the culture of peace. Guess what? They had in mind children. In fact, it's the next generation that we have to work on in order to develop a culture of peace. Unfortunately, our generation has developed a culture of violence, a culture of war. You just have to look around you and see the number of conflicts across the globe to realize that we truly are living in a culture of violence and war. Even in school, you have bullying and you know, fights breaking out across the schoolyards. That's part of the culture of violence. And it seems to me that we have to develop a culture of peace so that we can end those types of violence throughout society. Whether it be in the schoolyard, or whether it be at the provincial level, or the national level, or the global level, we need to develop this culture of peace. So I hope that the end of the culture decade of peace, which is 2001 to 2010, will not be the end of our thinking about the culture of peace, but rather the beginning of developing a true culture of peace, which means we have to actively work on those things that Tom talked about: peacekeeping and peace building, conflict mediation rather than conflict agitation. We want to be able to work on these building blocks of peace in order to develop a culture of peace within our society. And whether we do this in our homes, in our churches, in our synagogues, in our mosques, I want us to begin a serious dialogue among ourselves about how we can build a culture of peace for the future. And thanks so much for inviting us. One thing I would like to say, that the University of Alberta is committed to developing a peace studies program within the Department of Political Science. We have a Peace and Post-Conflict Studies certificate that you can take as part of a BA in almost any field. It's an interdisciplinary certificate. But we also have plans for a peace and governance program at the master's level for those people who want to understand the depths of the subject matter of peace building. And I'm hoping that we can keep the memory of a famous Edmontonian alive, that's Ron Grantham, who was a Rotarian and a person committed to the whole issue of peace at the University of Alberta. He passed away last year, and that was at his bedside, I think a couple of days before he passed away. And the last thing he made me promise was that we will continue to push for a peace program permanently at the University of Alberta. And it's my commitment that we do so. And I hope that you can join us and support us in that effort. Thanks for coming out, and kids, peace again.